Good morning, happy Easter. I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and appropriately one of those memos pertains to Easter itself, specifically the food that we eat at Easter. Try saying that after 12 sherries. Haven't had that many this morning. That was last night. So I've been umming and ahhing whether to do this video or not, given the circumstances of being in quarantine, and then I just thought, what would Jesus do? He probably didn't have a video camera, to be honest. But I think he would have wanted to go ahead with this in order to let Brits know what to expect when they see the shopping aisles at Easter in America. It's not exactly the same. Now, there is another reason that I ummed and ahed about doing this video, is because the differences aren't so marked as they are for, say, Christmas. You know, you've got an absolute staple of differences there. You've got turkey versus ham, Christmas pudding versus pumpkin pie. So Jesus' birthday is just, it's easier. The differences with Easter are more subtle, and you sort of have to generalise a tad as well. So it's not a case of Britain does this thing and America doesn't. It's a case of Britain does this thing more than America does this thing. So let's just keep that in mind as we're going through this video. Without further ado, let's crack the egg and see what's inside, apart from the yolk. So I did talk about this a little bit last year with my wife. That's old-fashioned AF. Check her out on YouTube. Not in that way, just go and subscribe to her channel, in which we talked about some of the differences between candy, Easter-based candy. And one of the things that came up in that very conversation was that in Britain, we tend to promote the idea of the Easter egg, right? And I know that we have Easter eggs in America. We even have them in the form that you would find in Britain. But it's a big, big, big thing in Britain, specifically for children and me. And they're these sort of large hollow chocolate eggs, right? They're about half the size of my face, or the total size of a normal human face, right? And inside them, they have other little chocolates. So, for example, you might get an egg that it's branded under Cadbury's mini eggs, and inside you have a bag of mini eggs, right? That's a really nice surprise, and it's something that is very, very, very common. Most British children would expect to get about 7 of those every year. That was just me, right? Thanks, Mum. She's not really here. It was a fictional conversation, and you'll see them all over the chocolate aisle at Easter time in Britain, whereas here I have seen them. I mean, they occasionally do crop up, but there's not typically going to be a large variety of Cadbury brands. In the large egg form, I mean. Both countries do Cadbury mini eggs, but what you are more likely to see in the US in terms of hard, hollow chocolate is the Easter bunny. Turns up a lot. And again, just to throw this back to Britain, of course you find hollow chocolate bunnies there too. They're hidden behind all the eggs, and so you can't see the woods for the trees. Again, that's not what that phrase means. In America, you will find them. I think Russell Stover makes them, doesn't he? Or it. It's a company. I don't. And inside, you might find more little chocolate in wrappers. Inside the bunny, not in Russell Stover. Hot cross buns, right? If you've ever read any of those popular BuzzFeed posts about, you know, Easter food that only the Brits would do, well, the truth is it sort of did originate in England, or at least the form we know now. There's even evidence of it being banned during the Elizabethan period. The thing is, you can get them in the United States, and some people, and I stress some, would consider them part of the Easter tradition. I'm sure there are plenty of Americans watching this right now who are stuffing their mouths with hot cross buns. If that's you, let me know in the comments below. Just don't write with your mouth full. But it's not as widespread. In Britain, it's actually punishable by death if you don't eat one at Easter. So that's why I fled to America. In Britain, particularly on Good Friday, hot cross buns are absolutely central to the diet of the weekend. And same in America when they are eaten, I should point that out. So if you are stuffing your mouth with them right now, you're 2 days too late. I suppose it's good to have leftovers, isn't it? And the cross, of course, represents the crucifix. So you might have that and then a piece of toast with the image of Christ in it. They're lovely with a bit of butter. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing a taste test of that or the Easter eggs or any of the other things on this list, it's because we've run out of food just when I decided to do this video. Walgreens round here doesn't have hot cross buns. It doesn't have toilet paper either. We've sort of moved on to the rags. It's particularly sad that I don't get to try either of these because you would witness a first. I've never had carrot cake or simnel cake. I had a very sheltered childhood, it turns out. Until this past weekend, I didn't realise that in Britain, kids also go egg hunting like they do. I thought that was an American tradition. And it turns out it's not. It didn't even start in America. We've been doing it for centuries, and my parents just didn't tell me. So thankfully they did allow me to watch horror films when I was 9. They might not have found out about that. Sorry if you're finding this out for the first time, Mum and Dad. And again, I think this goes back to being sheltered, because until yesterday I didn't even know what simnel cake was, much less that it was a British staple at this time of year. Apparently, though, I'm not alone, because I put out a poll yesterday on YouTube, which, over 7,000 people took, and of those, only 1% said that they eat simnel cake at this time of year. I mean, that could be to do with the fact that most of my audience is American, and they've just never heard of simnel. Simnel cake, it turns out, it's a type of fruit cake that people eat in Britain this time of year. So in a way, sort of like a Christmas pudding, except nothing like it and 1,000 times more decadent, and in this case, with Cadbury mini eggs on it. So if that's not enough to make me move back to Britain, I don't know what is, and in case you were wondering, that was a joke. Reading around, it seems as if the popularity of simnel cake may have waned in recent years, but people still eat it on Easter Sunday, so I included it for that reason. And on that same poll, I wanted to tease carrot cake because I'd read on the internet that Americans like to eat carrot cake at this time of year. 20% of you, apparently, according to this, and so it's not as widespread as the internet would have me believe. But you're eating it a darn sight more than you're eating simnel cake, and 69% of you said you're eating no cake. What's going on? Why have we suddenly stopped eating cake as a people? That should be illegal. And then finally 10% went with other, and I've read the comments and it looks like coconut cake is leading in the miscellaneous category. So let me know in the comments below what you're stuffing your mouth with, and do keep it to food. This is a Sunday. And now that we've got the desserts out of the way, we're going to skip to the main course. And I've just realised that's not in chronological order. Do you have a time machine? I don't. The main difference here is the meat that you eat with your Uncle Pete. I don't know what. In America, just like at Christmas in the Midwest or, other places, people traditionally eat ham. And I'm not saying people don't do this in Britain. I mean, there are going to be British families watching this that do indeed use ham, right? You don't really use ham, do you? You eat it. I don't want to know about the alternative. But one alternative to ham is lamb, and all I need now is some clam that I can eat on a tram. I'm not a poet, all right? Or I am big pentameter. Sorry, I just had to get that in there. But in America, lamb is not something you'd expect to find on the dinner table at Easter or most times of the year. Don't get me wrong, you can get lamb in America, right? But you're less likely to, just because per square mile there are just fewer sheep than in Britain. And can we look that up after this? I don't know that for a fact. I'm going off observation, looking at the hillsides of England. I can ruddy well guess that there are more sheep. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below how you're spending your Easter, hopefully at home with your family, or even with, your Cadbury's cream eggs, which by now might even be your family. Don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I'm active on Twitter. I post there multiple times a day, and I also respond to comments. And in the words of Marjorie1297, I'm an absolute hoot. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so at Lost in the Pond US. And don't forget, to prevent my videos from getting lost in the pond, please subscribe today by hitting my stupid little face and then clicking my bell. In all seriousness, I can't thank my patrons enough for what they do for my channel. If you look back at some of my old videos from like the first weeks of me doing this, they look rubbish compared to what they look now. And that's all down to my patrons. Not the it looking rubbish bit, but it looking much better now bit, right? They've helped me to conjure up new equipment, not like in a magic way, but just I purchased them on Amazon. If you would like to support the channel and see it grow even more and become the thing it's destined to be, which I still don't know what that is at this point, then go to patreon.com/lostinthepond. It only takes 5 minutes to sign up, and any pledge amount that you can give will be much appreciated by yours truly and my cat. He's really fond of patrons. Take care, have a great Easter, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching this episode of Lost in the Pond. Don't forget to hit my stupid little face to subscribe, and please share this video with the world. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and if you would like to support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/lostinthepond.